Hello everybody, I've got Miles with me again today. We're recording a new batch of videos. This one is, I'm not entirely sure what I'm going to call it.
Yeah, it's odd. I'm trying to think of what name
yeah, it
we
started
could
off
call
as
it.
like a chat about getting close to the show, Doctor Who.
Yeah.
And you said like meeting Doctor Who peeps, whatever, didn't you?
Yeah,
So,
because it's like it's not like just meeting the actors, it's meeting all sorts of people, isn't it?
yeah, so kind of meeting actors either at conventions or filming or just in the street or whatever, and seeing props and locations and costumes, all sorts of stuff. Where
and
it involves,
exhibitions and things
yeah,
as well.
museums.
Yeah.
Us as fans kind of getting that a little bit closer to the behind the scenes kind of aspect of the show. So I guess we'll go through things in chronological order, anecdotes and things, and maybe touch on some of the issues surrounding things like conventions and filming.
Yes, because
people
there's been with LFCC.
Yeah, just recently.
Yeah, there's been some interesting points that we can maybe touch on without being too controversial. But yeah,
absolutely. So I think a good way of starting this really is just to kind of go way back to the start. So I'll ask you first, I suppose, kind of what your first sort of interaction with anything
who
from the show.
Yeah.
Like that encounter, physical encounter.
Well, aside from exhibitions, which I guess we're going to touch on later, in terms of actually meeting someone involved in the show, I actually forgot about this until I sort of thought, what autographs and things have I got? So this is, if I find it here, this is my very first Doctor Who autograph and meeting thing. So Mark Morris is the author of not just The Ghost of India, which is this book here. I believe he did a lot of past Doctor adventures and things like that too with the BBC Books range. He might have written a few Big Finish as well, actually. But he was at a local library in 2008, I imagine, given that this is a kind of book.
Sort of time.
And I managed to get his signature in there. So, and I think we also got another book for my cousin as well. And I totally forgot about this. But yeah, it's interesting that the very first one is not specifically like an actor or anything. It's an author.
Yeah.
And like I said, I totally forgot about that. But yeah, that was an interesting event because we sort of went in and then I think I was slightly late. But I managed to catch the end of, I think he was doing a reading of this. This was a brand new book that was just out. And yeah, the library had a sort of, on the doors, they had like a mock TARDIS set up, obviously all cardboard and everything. And a guy stood outside with a Fourth Doctor scarf on, obviously wanting to be somewhere else, but probably paying very little. So yeah, but I mean, as a kid, that was quite special because I was sort of like, wow, this is... You know, people are actually writing this show, and I can actually meet them. But it wasn't for another few years until I actually went to a convention. But how about you? What was your
Absolutely, because I was going to say as well, I didn't really like back then. I don't know, I came fan 2008 sort of time. It didn't really occur to me that I suppose that you could do anything like that, or just it didn't occur to me to kind of go out of my way to do anything like that.
Sure, it always felt quite distant. You know, like. You sort of felt like that's all far away.
Absolutely, I think when you start off and it's just kind of it's there on the screen, and then you kind of grow more interested in the behind the scenes aspect of it, I suppose, and things like that in conventions gradually. The first sort of thing I've got various props and things. This is a photo of me with. It's not even a real TARDIS, but it's a very
good. It's a very good box.
That's over in Wetherby, over in Yorkshire, kind of. Over Harrogate sort of way,
nice.
We found that it was just by chance. That was on the way up. We used to holiday up here actually in Yorkshire, and I think we took a wrong turning. And we found that, and that was like, oh, it's the TARDIS.
That's a very special moment, isn't it? That you've not planned. Those sort of moments of
when you just stumble upon things.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. I'm trying to think if there's any instances like that. Sometimes you have locations, don't you, where you end up there not having planned to have gone there. That often happens in London because there's so many locations in London.
Or even just walking around Cardiff.
Actually. Cardiff, yeah, I'm sure we'll touch on that as well.
Things you're not even aware of.
So like the Globe Theatre, we went on some school trips to there, and I almost didn't twig until we got there. Like, they actually filmed in this place. This is a whole, you know. But yeah, I love those little moments when you just you don't plan it and it just happens. Yeah.
Absolutely. So then the next kind of thing I got, that's a photo of me from from the Doctor Experience. That was
I can see this tweed
when
jacket
it was back in
behind
London.
it, yeah.
So
oh, so you went to the original London?
I did. It was like the last week that it was there.
Sure.
Before it moved down to Cardiff, February 2012, I think it was. And we thought we'd do it, so we went down on the train just for the day. That's one of the few photos. I think I've lost the rest of them, but that's one of the few ones that I've still got of me just dressed up there outside the big poster on the wall.
So was that the first exhibition you went to?
I think it was. Yeah.
I think this. I have a feeling I went to another, maybe before this, but this is the Manchester Doctor Who exhibition. That's one of the exhibits. And that's me and my two cousins. In 2008, the same cousins had also got tickets for us to go to the exhibition in Earl's Court in London.
Yeah.
And I just watched Stolen Earth, Journey's End, and they'd said, oh yeah, Davros is an exhibit there. And I was like, no, we're not going to go to that. So unfortunately I didn't go to the Earl's Court one. Yeah. But this was Manchester, and it was a sort of pop-up exhibition.
Yeah.
The Science Museum over there has a sort of an area which changes every few months. And obviously Doctor Who came along for a time, and even now, looking at that Slitheen, you can see the costumes wearing already.
They really were not made to last, those ones.
But I mean, as a kid, you don't think about that at all. No. It's just, that is incredible.
Yeah.
And I mean, the sheer joy on my little 7-year-old face, it's amazing. I just love. I love those exhibitions. So I went to Manchester in 2007, then 2010. Newcastle, which obviously Matt Smith's year as a Doctor, so a lot of Series 5 stuff. When you walked in, you had the RTD TARDIS on its side with smoke coming out of it in a sort of garden setup, like the 11th Hour.
Oh yeah,
I've got loads of pictures, but I can't find them anywhere. There's one up on the wall there. If you can see, there's a Cigarettes picture of me with a pyjama top, because I didn't have any Doctor Who t-shirts, and the only one I had was like a Matt Smith pyjama t-shirt. But again, that was incredible. And at the end of that, it was almost like a sort of a pilot for the Experience stuff they did, because there was a sort of Dalek mini adventure. So you went in, and there'd be all this sort of smoke and lights, and then Dalek, I'm sure Nick Briggs recorded some new voices and things, and Dalek Sec came out, and the Supreme Dalek, and I can't remember quite much about it because I was obviously like 10 years old. As a kid, that's incredible. You know, you almost get so immersed in that sort of stuff.
Definitely. I mean, the first time I went to the Experience when it was in London, I remember that they had a little inflated plaques, and he didn't want to bother reading anything. See everything.
Yeah, and you almost go so quick that it's like, have we only been here 10 minutes? And you're just whizzing around so quickly.
No, absolutely. Because I went again, so that was in London, then I went again, I think 3 times, I think, when I was in Cardiff.
I remember my first visit so vividly. I think it had probably just recently moved over. It's 2013, so maybe it had been there for a while, but it was the same week that Peter Capaldi was announced as the Doctor, and we were holidaying in sort of Oxfordshire, Hampshire kind of area, and totally by chance I looked at a map and I was like, we're quite close to Cardiff, and my parents went, yes, and I said, you know, there's a Doctor Who Experience. So that was completely on the fly. After that week we were there, we went down to Cardiff, and that was it was still the Matt Smith Experience.
Yeah, because they kept that even when Capaldi took over. They kept
it was kind of like there was sort of
period.
For that Capaldi one, as good as the Capaldi one was, it was kind of like, so how can we work this so we're not moving anything, and we're keeping the Matt Smith TARDIS, and it did sort of feel like they were trying to
make use of that when they changed the storyline. They had the same sort of stuff, but just a different story.
But I mean, again, experiencing that, and because in 2013. I'd seen so many videos on YouTube of people saying, I've been to the Experience and all that sort of stuff, and I was becoming more aware of that kind of stuff, and to be there again, it's just incredible and perfect. I think the ages we went was perfect, because it is, especially the start of the Experience for kids, that is just incredible. Being on the Tennant TARDIS, childhood dream come true, absolutely. Even though you can't obviously touch it and you've got the bars.
Yeah.
Amazing. I mean, I did lean over and
just have a
little tweak.
Yeah. No, absolutely. Because I remember back then, by the first time that I went to Cardiff in 2014, I kind of engineered it so this little family holiday there for a few days, and because Cardiff had this kind of, I don't know how to describe it, this massive status, like it was this kind of amazing
the Doctor
place.
Who.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, you can't go anywhere in Cardiff without finding a Doctor Who location, really, can you? Yeah.
And so I'd done all the research beforehand. They had that location website, which made by whatever, I think. And, you know, I got the map and got all these different places to go, and I made these timetables and schedules for the whole family, and we're going to do this on this day and this. And then to continue on from that, then chronologically, we got there, I think, on the Monday evening, and it all went out the window. Because then,
oh, of course,
we realised that they were doing some filming over very nearby. We were in a hotel in Cardiff, and they were just over in a forest about 20 minutes away.
You mean were you sort of in Cardiff?
We were in the.
Was it a Premier Inn?
It wasn't, no.
Because I stayed in a Premier Inn. I remember 2015.
It wasn't the one that they used in like Partners in Crime, the Premier Inn.
I don't think so. No.
There's one that they used.
But I remember it being very close. And it was a hotel that I think someone got murdered in the week before we were staying there, so that was quite nice.
Yeah.
Anyway.
Yeah, I mean, because I'd seen on Twitter, the filming stuff, and well, just a long story short.
Hashtag DWSR, isn't it?
Hashtag DWSR. A story that's been told many times, but that's when I met
Incredible.
Peter Capaldi.
And Jenna, and I always forget you met Mark Gatiss as well.
Yeah, which was magical. Tom Riley.
Mr. Tom Riley, who... Yeah. I can link this into my visit to Cardiff as well. I might have told you this before. So 2015 was the last time I went to the Doctor Who experience because I wanted to try and get on the TARDIS tour, and I think it was like some of the last weeks of the TARDIS tour. Yes. So lucky. Obviously that was quite nice. Yeah. But the week we were, well, the night we were there happened to coincide with the Welsh BAFTAs, and I saw Catherine Jenkins, Nerys Hughes, who was in Kinder and Torchwood, Rhys Williams' mum, Sanjeev Bhaskar, who was in the Capaldi episode as, I think he was in, he gets pulled out of a window
in the unit,
the Cyberman
series 8 finale,
and also Tom Riley. So that's the sort of little link there.
Little nod, yeah.
And then afterwards we went to have some dinner in the restaurant that Margaret Slevine tried to get on Chris Eccleston. So that was quite nice.
Oh gosh.
I mean that is so amazing. Like you're never going to get an experience like that.
It was just completely random, and
and I bet you're so glad that picture of you and Capaldi is so perfect. Like,
my dad took it, and he always says, cause it was just as he was walking off, and it was like, if I hadn't called him back and taken that photo, he wouldn't have had it. And he's right. I mean, we were there in that forest, kind of waiting 6-7 hours, however many it was.
Yeah, you must have been there for a while to
long
catch.
time. And we didn't.
When you see these photos, you don't realise how long you've had to wait to get that moment.
And we had to wait all that time. We didn't even see what was going on because they were down in the Three Bears Cave. So we were.
So I'm guessing that's the bit of the Merry Men when they're all having the stop bantering.
Yeah, that's the one I believe that was filmed that day. Yeah. So we were on one side and they were down in the dip.
That must be weird when you watch that episode and think I'm on the other side.
Yeah. It's bizarre.
Yeah.
But it was an interesting experience because I don't know, it kind of brought home. On the one hand, that they are kind of just normal people like you, I guess.
Yeah.
But it was also the starstruck aspect as well, and it was great to meet them. It was kind of that two sort of sides to it. On the one hand, they are just ordinary people. On the other hand, it's quite inspiring to see them in the flesh, I suppose, just doing that stuff. And then afterwards, we went to McDonald's for tea, and it was just like back to the
perfect day,
mundane, normal life.
And you got a Jenna Coleman autograph at a reasonable at the price of nothing, but I'm sure we'll touch on that later.
We definitely will.
But that is just, I mean, that like I said, it's an experience that you can't buy. Money can't buy that, and you will never forget something like that. It's incredible.
If it wasn't for DWSR and for that whole thing and the Twitter thing, I wouldn't have found out about that. I wouldn't have gone.
Sure.
So I can have mixed feelings towards that. Obviously, I think
privacy,
and the people that go too far with it and I mean, it ties into the whole convention thing as well, the
Yeah.
stuff that's happened recently with Jenna.
Well, I mean, because there's that sort of thing of is with the DWSR, it's a very different scenario to the conventions in the sense that they're working. They're not.
Yeah. Anything else is just an hour.
Exactly. Yeah.
And
They shouldn't feel obliged
no,
to do this stuff.
No.
So if they don't come to see you, then that should in no way be a bad reflection on them. They're just working, and they obviously don't want to be, thinking about other things as well. So it's an added bonus if they do come and see you. But should we touch on? I mean, I guess as we talk about the convention stuff, we can talk about our experiences after that. But the recent LFCC thing with Jenna Coleman, obviously, a lot of people weren't that happy with the meeting that they had with her. Yeah. They felt that it was very rushed, and they felt that Jenna wasn't very welcoming. But I think that it's come to light that I think there was a sort of a fan encounter at the start of the day that really didn't set things off to a good start.
Yes, it's that kind of thing. I mean, if this is getting close to the show, it's the people that kind of get too close, isn't it?
Yes,
and, or feel that they have the right to get too close, I think.
Because it's weird. We're in a weird position that we know so much about these people. Yes. They know nothing about us. So it's a very odd relationship already. Yeah. In that you're meeting someone who knows nothing about you, but you know.
No, that's a really good point. Actually, that was the thing.
You probably know exactly what they were doing on that shooting day in 2014.
And they've got no idea. Yeah. Like people like Catherine Tate that just turn up and the fans know more about it.
Completely oblivious. Yeah.
That was the thing I found. Can't remember where I found it now, but I was reading something the other day, and there was this thing about parasocial relationships, which is like a one-sided thing where it's the fan giving all their love to this celebrity figure, and the celebrity figure doesn't have a clue or isn't giving it back.
Yeah. Saying all the harsh stuff, you do get some very special moments from that as well. But I've actually got an interesting story. So our art teacher, Mrs. the crazy one. So I was doing some art in year 9 or whatever. Of Doctor Who, obviously. I think I might have been drawing the 6th Doctor, Colin Baker, and she said to me, "Oh, I did a convention time." Did she ever mention this to you?
Was it like a theatre thing where she...
Something like... I think she might have been one of those people. You always have one sat next to them on a convention table.
Oh, right.
Possibly. Yeah. I don't know, but she said, "Oh, he wasn't very nice when I did that."
He wasn't?
Yeah.
Oh.
And I was like, "Hey?" Because when I met Colin at my first convention, he was lovely. And I guess it is a different side of things in that obviously they're putting on a show for the fans, but I can't see how Colin Baker could have been,
Yeah, it's always tricky, isn't it? Because to go back to that thing, they are just human beings. When you meet them, it hammers that home, I think, when you see them wearing real clothes, and you're not to be crude, but you realise that they eat and drink and go to the loo and everything else. I once saw Peter Davison. I was walking towards the loo at a convention. I saw Peter Davison going the other way, so he's just been to the toilet.
These people urinate as well.
The 5th Doctor.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah, but it's weird, and you can get them on good days or bad days. I mean,
just on the side note of that, one of my uncles was at a urinal next to Matt Smith one time.
Oh wow!
Yeah, he didn't say anything to him because it's quite awkward, that sort of situation. Again, right?
I mean, you could get
doctor
reported. Or
yeah. But again, bizarre situation of seeing these people in weird scenarios.
It's a funny one because you can get them on good days or bad days.
Yeah, that's another thing. Yeah.
Because they are just people like us. I mean, they're not. Yeah, you're paying the money and whatever to see them, but they're not actually obliged to give us... I mean, it depends. If it's a transaction like that and you're actually paying a vast amount of money...
To some extent, I guess you do have some right to kind of go, well, I have paid, especially if you've paid the amounts that some people cost. But then thinking about Jenna's situation, I think it was the organisers which was so much wrong, really shoving people through, hey, one to get one, just keep churning them through, and she mustn't have had any time to go, oh right, hello, nice to meet you.
Yeah. And all that kind of stuff, the whole kind of culture of that kind of puts me off these big conventions.
That's the thing.
Prices and just the whole way of doing it, where it's like on a production line. From what I've seen, we've never attended them.
And you're paying Eccleston £95.
He's paying his mortgage.
Yeah. You're paying that much for an encounter that I'm sure some people have had lovely encounters.
Yeah, sure.
But an encounter that lasts the space of what, 15 seconds.
Very, very brief.
You know, and I mean, think about the encounter you had with Eccleston. Money can't buy that.
Yeah.
And you didn't have to pay anything for it. And that's a more special encounter than, you know, going up and having a photo to some extent, isn't it?
No, absolutely.
Because thinking, I mean, someone posted a picture of Jenna Coleman at these LFC shoots, and they'd edited out a person, so it was literally like you could Photoshop yourself in next to Jenna Coleman.
Yeah.
And I sort of thought, well, to some extent,
they have like a limited number of poses they do or whatever, and it's just
yeah.
It's
and if
like
the encounter is that brief of like, hello, cheese, thank you very much, bye. It's kind of like, well,
I sometimes think that as well, like kind of. What difference am I making to them? What difference are they making? Like, in that very brief encounter, what can you do? What can you say about it? I mean, it's just a passing thing. It's not like you're going to be able to say anything to them. I mean, it depends. I mean, you can say, oh, you're my favourite doctor or whatever, and that might make their day or whatever.
Or it might make them feel very awkward. It's like, what do they say to that? You're my favourite doctor.
Yeah.
Thanks. I remember we had at VorbCon, there was a guy doing a panel, and he said that he got stuck in a lift with Peter Davison on the day, and he said, yeah, it wasn't awkward, we had another conversation, and then I told him he was my favourite doctor, and they just had sort of stony silence for the rest of their brief being trapped in the lift. Not like, Davison wasn't obviously angry, but it was kind of like, sort of, thank you. It was kind of like, what do we say now?
It is what do we say now? Like whenever I'm there, just you
kind of got to plan something in your head.
You plan something, and then it just kind of goes out the window.
Yeah, I remember when I met Davison, I was kind of like, I loved you in All Creatures Great and Small, and so we had a sort of brief chat about that kind of thing, because you kind of want to have a unique encounter in some respects.
You do, don't you? Yeah.
Because everyone's probably gone up to him and said, oh, you know, Keisha Anjazani's my favourite story, and you were great in it. So you kind of want to have a unique thing. Yeah,
you do. You want to make a difference to them, and you want them to make a difference to you, I suppose, don't you? And you want it to be something to remember. But I think in that kind of convention setup, especially when it's such big business like the big ones, it puts me off completely, because you are just one out of hundreds, thousands in one day, and I think that, as you said, that takes it away from the experience, and it is those kind of spontaneous ones that money can't buy. They're the ones that you remember, aren't they?
Yeah, they are. Yeah, I think I prefer going up to them to have an autograph, because you have a bit more time to talk a little, you know, and also you can get your photo right there and then as well, can't you? And to some extent, that's got more character to it than a photo which is in a booth, you know, against the background, which everyone's had, you know. So it's tricky, isn't it? Conventions are an interesting thing. I mean, when was the first convention you went to?
Well, I'll get my autograph book now at this stage. I'm trying to think actually if it's where it would be in here. Well, maybe it's not in here. The first one I think was, so like you, I met Colin Baker. He was the first doctor I met, the first person. There's yours,
He's hidden behind my desk. I've never found a better place, because my Davison ones are in a lovely, you know, luscious wooden frame back here, and poor Colin's just stuck behind their desk. I've never found a better place for the picture. It's slightly fading as well. Can you see the sort of?
Oh dear, yeah.
The sort of, I don't know how, but it's not in the sun or anything. But yeah, that was.
Yeah, I'm not sure it's gone now. I got exactly the same thing, the frame like that, because I thought...
Which I was like, oh yeah, I'm being really quirky and getting this sort of one done. And then I came on the day and I saw everyone was clutching one of these, and I was like, damn it.
And you kind of think, oh, I'll get them all signed eventually, don't you? Kind of ambitiously, and then it never quite works out.
Exactly. You know what?
Yeah.
I've not got my Sylvester McCoy one anymore, because I sent him a fan letter to say, you know, blah, 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 whatever I said. And he never got sent back.
Oh no,
bastard!
Sad. Oh gosh.
So maybe we should go to Warp 2, and I can never get. So Sylvester, do you remember I sent you a print a while back, and you never returned it?
Yeah.
So, but yeah, no, that's and it's kind of, that was my very first one, and it was Invasion Earth 2 in Manchester. I remember the name, and I was obviously very nervous. I mean, you know, you're meeting a doctor, and I sort of think Colin sort of noticed that, because I sort of went, oh hello, you know, I'm Miles with an I, just hoping they didn't spell it wrong, and he sort of he you know, interacted in a sense. You know, he sort of said, oh, so where have you come from? And I sort of said Yorkshire, and he went, oh yeah, up north, and you know, just being kind of, you know, really trying to make that moment special.
Yeah.
So I really appreciated that from Colin. And again, like I say, I can't see how, you know, he could have been you know, a nasty person, given the story that I heard in the past. But you know, he was really lovely when I met him. And
that's the Miles with a I thing that you just said. It just reminded me of, like, in any of these scenarios, you're giving them something from your collection to scribble all over, and you've got no control over.
Yeah, because he used the blue pen as well.
Yeah,
and I was like, I wish you'd used a silver pen.
There is one thing that I'll always remember from the attic. I think it must be in here somewhere, and it's is it? Maybe it's not. It's all the SJA kids, and it's just really crowded. I'm not sure where it's gone.
Oh, is it a program or something?
It's an image. There it is, and somewhat. Which one was that? So Angela there. Sinead there, Tommy there. Who would that one be? Oh, that Maria Jackson one, Yasmin. So she did it in black pen down there. I think that's her. Yeah, it must be.
I can't read that autograph.
But you can't even see it. It's not even worth doing that. But like, if you've got a group thing like that and you want to, it's like with doctors. You think, oh, I'm going to get them all to sign this. And
then Sylvester McCoy makes a massive signature, and Colin's like
over someone's face or something.
Yeah. I know what you mean as well, because obviously I got my TV movie cover signed by McGann at WarpCon. It was signed very well, but like it's like where it goes over the edge and everything. You can't say to them, just make sure you get it. But that's the thing. It's these little quirks, isn't it?
Yeah.
You know. And you know, I'll always treasure something like that.
Which is what I think. Yeah, mine. One I got at the attic from Katie Manning.
Katie Manning. I wish at WarpCon I went up to her and had a chat or something.
But she lovely. She started it off. So she started off in silver and then had to go into a gold pen because silver ran out. So those things kind of do make them.
Well, you've got a story about that, haven't you? Now, you can sort of say,
oh, it makes it stand out, and it's something that you can remember, isn't it?
At that attic convention, I bet that was amazing. I mean, I suppose it was a first time convention for the people organising, so it might have been quite hectic.
Yeah, slightly similar to Warp in that aspect, and I think panels cancelled, or I think because Daniel Anstey didn't end up turning up in the end, but it was very good for the most part.
Autograph from him.
So I did. There on the somewhere at the back. Yeah, that came in the post afterwards.
Oh, nice. Well, that's. I mean, you know.
Yeah, but yeah, that one is one of the better ones that I've gone to, I think, just because it was smaller and
the smaller.
There were issues with queues and things, and it at times felt a little bit like a production line, but it did for the most part feel more personal and got a lovely photo with.
And you've got that sort of Mr. Smith background as well. I love that.
Yeah, it was actually just like a brick wall at the venue, and then they just stuck that on. So it's very makeshift, but it worked. Yeah, it worked really nicely, and that was a nice way of kind of meeting all those people in one day, really. So that's probably the best.
I think that's your favourite one.
I think, probably.
I mean, looking at all the sort of the prints and the programmes and things, it looks like they put a lot of effort into it.
Oh yeah,
and I think that's when you really.
So next up in my book, I got this one. I met Peter Davison and Sarah Sutton.
Fifth Doctor and Nissa.
Sorry. Yeah, and I mean that was okay. That was one over in.
Did you say that you
York.
thought you might have caught him on a slight off day, Peter Davison, on that one? Yeah,
perhaps slightly. In fact, we had to do the photo again. So for that and for the attic, twice they used flash cameras, and I blinked the first time trying to get them to redo the photo, which is annoying. Because that's another aspect of it, like with the scribbling on it, and something you can't really control, and you just have to fingers crossed and hope for the best, really, in how they come out. Well, I'd forgotten about this as well.
I forgot about that. Yes, I knew there was some sort of encounter I'd forgotten about. Yeah,
that is when we both went to see Twice Upon a Time.
Yeah, in the most dilapidated old.
To blur it out.
In the most run down theatre in but that was amazing. Being having that sort of thing of we're seeing this before a lot of members of the public.
Like, not to be smug about it or anything like that or arrogant, but it did feel very special to see it before.
It kind of came full
everybody
circle for
else.
you as well, because like meeting Capaldi before
Yeah.
he'd even become the Doctor, and then you're seeing his final
That
adventure
before it even
before.
goes out. Yeah.
You know.
And Chris Eccleston, which
Hey,
is
look at that.
not a convention. I mean, it's not personalised, but it doesn't matter.
But still, I mean, like you've got
and
a story
the whole,
behind
the
that.
whole
haven't you?
story. Yeah.
I just
so-
love that story of. So did you had the obviously your design technology project? You
Yes.
created this clock face,
all the little Doctor faces on.
which I saw in person. It's cracking.
Yeah. cheers.
But so did you make a spare engraving?
I
for
made
Eccleston?
just the week before. I thought, okay, I've got some spare acrylic here. Let's laser cut one. I mean, it's DT. Got spare hour in the lesson. I mean, what else are you gonna do?
I love the thought of just. I'm picturing that our DT room,
Yeah.
and just picturing you engraving all these
Standing
Doctor's
there
faces.
waiting for them, to come out. And I thought, I'll make a spare Eccleston one, just on the off chance that I get to give it to him or whatever. It's unique. It stands out. It might come to something.
Yeah.
And so we got there on the day to this theatre in Manchester where I was doing a talk. We gave it to the organisers beforehand, and then he actually came on stage holding it in this little jiffy bag that it was in. So I kind of knew something was going to happen. And then I kind of sneakily, at the end when they had questions, I put in my hand and I said, I'm the guy that gave you that. And then he got it out and did the whole thing, because it's transparent, so you could if you shined a phone light through it or whatever, you could create a shadow impression of his face.
And then someone in the audience says, if you hold it there long enough, it'll turn into David Tennant. I love that.
Brilliant, yeah.
I mean, but that is another really unique encounter that money can't buy.
That's got to be up there as well. One of my favourite ones, one of my special ones, definitely.
Amazing.
Especially
and Eccleston as well.
To seeing him at the London Comic Cons where he charges so much. I mean, or him or the agency or whatever, where you have to pay that much money. That's definitely preferable for me. I mean, obviously not something that you can plan, or it was just spontaneous. But nevertheless, that was cool. And then the most recent one I've got on here, Warp,
which was interesting. It's, I guess, in some ways my first proper convention experience, aside from, because the other one I went to wasn't really exclusively Doctor Who.
No.
So Warp was a kind of new experience for me in a lot of ways, and the first time I'd seen so many fans who I follow on Twitter and YouTube, and that's another aspect of it, isn't it? It's not just meeting the actors, but it's meeting the fans of the show.
The fans.
And I wish I mean, I had interactions with like Harry Draper and a few odd people sort of came up and say, oh, love the channel, but I wish I'd sort of gone up to some people and sort of said, I'm a massive fan of your work, and an inspiration. I think that if I ever go to another one, maybe Warp 2, who knows? It would be. I'm really going to try and sort of say, go up to people and say, thank you for creating fantastic content and being a fan of this show, because it's incredible the people that the fans, the fans of this show, meeting them is sometimes equally as amazing as meeting the actors and the writers.
Absolutely, that's a good point to kind of end on as we draw it to a close, I suppose. Actually, no, I've forgotten, you've not done the Russell T Davies one.
Oh yeah,
I mean, we need to have that in there.
It's a small little thing. I'm sure I mentioned it before. I don't know if I mentioned it before on
Possibly,
camera. So I was in Manchester, had a nice day shopping, and I was in M&S. We were just about to go to the car, and then I heard this as I was on the checkout. I hadn't noticed who was behind me. I was obviously so preoccupied thinking, oh, can't wait to eat those Haribos or something like that. And I heard this sort of Welsh voice of, oh, I don't know what he was saying. But and then I turned around and there's this huge looming man, and I think, that's Russell T Davies. That's Russell T Davies. And I sort of waited until we were sort of past the checkout a little bit, and I sort of turned to my mum and was like, that's Russell T Davies. And she was like, go and ask him for an autograph. You've got that Doctor Who book in your bag, you can get him to sign that. And I went, yeah, but it's a Matt Smith Doctor Who book, I can't get him to sign that.
Oh no.
So I didn't actually go up to meet him, but I mean, that's a weird memory of, I actually, speaking of Russell T Davies, my cousin went to the 2008 Doctor Who prom, the very first Doctor Who prom, and he was sat, if not next to him, right near him in one of the boxes.
Ooh, yeah.
So that's another sort of unique experience, and I went to the proms in 2010 as well, so I've seen from afar Matt Smith, Karen Gillan and Arthur Darvill. So that's another experience that I won't forget. And Doctor Who live the same year, seeing like Nick Briggs was Churchill in that. I always forget about that.
How was that like in the flesh? Or just
Yeah. So obviously he was voicing the Daleks and the Cybermen live, and they obviously went, well, let's not bother getting Ian McNeice in. Let's just dress you up like, because they're so far back that it's like. Oh, I mean, I guess if you put a bit of padding in and put a bit of a gruff voice on, you're Churchill.
Oh, wow.
So again, another really weird experience. Doctor Who Live was fantastic. Again, as a kid, seeing all that sort of stuff, incredible. And Doctor Who at the Proms as well. I should have fished out my programme. I've got it somewhere. It's in a Dalek shape, and they did like all the different paradigm to choose from. So like, I got an Eternal one, and my brother got a Strategist Dalek one. So yeah, that again, more unique memories of getting close to this show, and it's just amazing, this programme, and how it inspires you, and how meeting them can just be a really special experience sometimes. And it's sometimes the things that you do that you don't plan that can be the most special.
Yeah, I think almost always, especially compared to, I mean, if you do spend a lot of money and go to the big cons and have everything, then okay, fair enough.
Yeah, because a lot of people love that,
and they get a kick out of that.
Exactly.
But yeah, I think if we're going to come to any conclusion in this video from our anecdotes and things, that definitely the best ones are those unique, spontaneous moments when you just stumble across someone or something or whatever.
Yeah,
like location, person,
theatre shows as well. You know, like going to shows.
And you don't realise that they're
and I remember we were watching like Threepenny Opera in National Theatre, and in the interval, I just turned around to you and I was like, I swear I recognise that guy. And we were just googling, trying to work out like
the guy, the Time Lord guy,
the guy from Day of the Doctor, and there was a woman from Sherlock in it too, and obviously Rory. Is it Rory Kinnear?
Rory Kinnear,
who's obviously been in years and years and things like that, and he was a favourite for like the 11th Doctor. And
I think there was even there was like someone that played a tech trap in that. You know,
was it really?
I like googled.
Well, I guess they were all sort of dancers
name
and
like
things,
there was someone just random,
and even
completely random.
We went to see the next year, The Ferryman, and that had Father of Mine from Family of Blood.
Yes.
And I didn't recognise
the mad woman from End of Time as well, wasn't the?
Oh my god, yes.
That woman, yeah.
Yeah, and you don't even realise these things.
You don't realise.
The only one I've had is recently when I went to see Alex Kingston in. Where is it? There we go. In Admissions, this fantastic play about university stuff. So that's the only theatre thing I've sort of gone to with the intent of seeing these people. But yeah, I almost think those experiences are even more special because we didn't anticipate seeing these people from the show.
Yeah, just so random.
I'm sure there was people from in the Shakespeare things that we saw as well at the Globe that were from Doctor Who too. But incredible.
Absolutely. So that just brings to a close all of that, I suppose. I hope you enjoyed listening to our little anecdotes, and please do share yours in the comments below. Any actors you've met, locations you've seen,
any funny stories,
costumes, props, whatever, all sorts of things. Anything better than meeting RCD in M&S, throw it our way.
Right, as you know, everyone can trump
that.
Can beat that. Although I think you meeting Capaldi, Jenna Coleman and Mark Gates in the forest is probably a bit better than meeting RCD in M&S.
So thank you a lot for watching, thank you very much. Stay tuned for more stuff coming your way from us that we're going to record today and get out to you. And goodbye, see you soon.